Alright, so, you're on the hunt for a new TV. Maybe your old one finally called it quits, or you just want to make movie nights at home a little more epic. Either way, you're about to run into a classic TV buying dilemma. You spot two 65-inch TVs, one's $329, the other's $999. That's a $670 gap, and let's be real, that's a chunk of change. The budget-friendly one? That's the Insignia QF series QLED. It covers all the basics and honestly, it looks pretty sharp in your living room. The pricier pick? That's the Sony BRAVIA 5 Mini LED. Sony's got a big name for quality and cool tech, so it's no surprise it costs more. But what are you actually getting for all that extra money? Is it just the brand, or is there something special going on inside? Is it really worth stretching your budget? At first glance, both are big, bold screens that'll look awesome in any room. But the real magic? That's inside. The tech, the brains, and the picture quality that can totally change your viewing experience. It's not just about how big the screen is, it's about how awesome your movies and games look, how much you get pulled into the action, and how smooth your streaming feels. We're going to dig into what really sets these TVs apart, and whether the Sony's price tag is actually worth it, or if the Insignia is the smarter pick for most folks. For some people, value means getting the biggest screen possible for the lowest price, just stretching your dollar for size. For others, it's all about that premium experience, richer colors, deeper blacks, and a TV that really feels like the star of your living room. The Insignia QF series brings QLED and 4K to the budget crowd, making high-res entertainment way more accessible. The Sony BRAVIA 5 steps things up with next-gen display tech, smarter processing, and a price that's actually more reasonable than older Sony flagships. It's really a battle between good enough and genuinely great. And trust me, the difference can be bigger than you'd expect. We'll break down the tech, the user experience, and the picture quality so you can figure out what actually matters most to you. By the end, you'll know exactly what that $670 difference really gets you, and whether it's worth it for your setup. So, will you splurge on the Sony, or save some cash for a sound bar, a streaming box, or maybe even a new console with the Insignia? Let's figure it out together. Here's what you need to know before you make your pick. Alright, let's break it down together. Shopping for a new TV can feel like learning a new language. QLED, Mini LED, LED, it's a lot, but don't worry, once you get the basics, picking the right one gets way easier. So here's the deal. Both of these TVs use LED backlights, but they do it in totally different ways. And that behind-the-scenes tech, it actually changes how your favorite shows and movies look on screen. The Insignia is a QLED. That means it's got this extra quantum dot layer that makes colors brighter and more vibrant than your standard LED TV. Think of it as a little boost between the backlight and the screen, making everything look extra lively. QLED is all about those bold, punchy visuals. If you love your colors to really pop, QLED is made for you. Now the Sony is a mini LED. Instead of just a few hundred LEDs, it packs in thousands of tiny ones for the backlight. That's a big upgrade from regular LED TVs. More LEDs means the TV can control brightness and darkness in much smaller areas. This is called local dimming. So, it can light up or dim just the parts of the screen that need it, giving you way more detail in both shadows and highlights. Picture a night sky. On a QLED, the stars look nice, but the black sky might seem a bit gray. That's because it can't turn off the backlight in tiny spots. But with Mini LED, you get those bright stars and a sky that's actually black. It's a game changer for movies, games, or anything with dark scenes. Thanks to all those tiny LEDs, Mini LED TVs have less blooming and deeper contrast. That means fewer weird halos around bright stuff and a picture that just looks more real. So, here's the quick summary. QLED is your go-to for color, while Mini LED is all about contrast and control. It really depends on what matters most to you. Both are a step up from basic LED, but Mini LED is the bigger leap. It's newer tech that gets you closer to the best picture quality out there. You'll get almost OLED-level blacks with Mini LED, but with more brightness, and usually a friendlier price tag. For a lot of people, it's the perfect balance between performance and value. So, to sum it up, QLED is all about color. Mini LED is all about contrast. That's the main difference. Knowing this makes picking your next TV way easier. Alright, let's check out what you actually get for your money. Transition to next scene. Alright, let's talk about what you actually get with the Insignia QF series. For just $329, you're getting a massive 65-inch 4K screen. Seriously, that's wild. Just a few years ago, this kind of deal would have sounded like a dream. It really shows how fast TV tech is moving and how much more affordable it's become. This is a true budget-friendly big screen, so if you've been wanting that home theater vibe without emptying your wallet, this is a super easy way to make it happen. And here's the cool part. You're getting QLED tech, which means colors really pop. Whether you're watching nature docs, cartoons, or sports, everything just looks more lively and fun compared to a basic TV. Plus, it comes with Fire TV built right in. The interface is super easy to use, and you get instant access to all the big streaming apps. And if you're feeling lazy, Alexa voice control is there. Just say what you want to watch or tweak the settings, and you're good to go. If you're upgrading from an older 1080p TV, you'll definitely notice the difference. The jump in sharpness and size is huge, perfect for movie nights, binge watching, or just hanging out with the family. Of course, there are a few trade-offs. The backlight is pretty basic. No fancy local dimming here, so blacks can look more like dark gray, especially if you're watching in a dim room. You might also spot some blooming. That's those little halos of light around bright objects in dark scenes. It can be a bit distracting, especially if you love watching movies at night. The processor inside is entry-level, so while it does a decent job with upscaling and motion, it's not as smooth or sharp as pricier TVs. Fast-moving stuff like sports or action movies can look a little blurry sometimes. So, if you're a huge sports fan or love action-packed movies, you might notice some motion blur, especially during those really fast scenes. For gaming, it's totally fine for casual play, but just a heads up, the 60Hz refresh rate means you won't get those super smooth 120 FPS modes on the latest consoles. Hardcore gamers might want more, but for most people, it's honestly good enough. So, to sum it up, the Insignia QF series is big, colorful, smart, and super affordable. But to keep that price low, it does cut some corners on picture quality and gaming features. Now you might be wondering, what does the Sony give you for all that extra cash? Let's dive in and find out. Alright, let's talk about what makes the Sony BRAVIA 5 so special. The biggest upgrade here? That gorgeous mini LED display. We're talking thousands of tiny LEDs working together to give you those deep blacks and super bright highlights. The result? You get stunning contrast and a real sense of depth, even when you're watching movies in a dark room. Plus, Sony's powerful processor upscales your regular HD content so it looks sharp in 4K, and it keeps all the action super smooth. And yes, it supports Dolby Vision HDR. So every scene is optimized for the best possible picture. The built-in speakers, honestly, they're better than most TVs out there, but if you want that true theater sound, a soundbar is still a good idea. Gamers, you're in luck. This TV has a 120 Hz panel, HDMI 2.1, and variable refresh rate. Basically, it's ready for next-level console gaming, and just look at it. The build quality is top-notch, with those thin bezels and a super sleek design. Google TV runs fast and smooth, and if you're an Android user, it's a breeze to connect your devices. So, you're not just paying for one fancy feature, you're getting a full package, awesome display, smart processing, gaming perks, and a beautiful design. Now let's see how it stacks up against the Insignia QLED, side by side. Alright, let's see how the Insignia QF series and Sony BRAVIA 5 measure up against each other. The biggest thing you'll notice? Sony's mini LED backlight, packed with hundreds of dimming zones. That means you get awesome contrast and really punchy HDR. The Insignia's direct lit backlight just can't keep up with that level of precision, but it still looks good for everyday use. Sony also packs in a super smart processor, so you'll notice better upscaling and smoother motion. Great for movies and sports. Plus, with a 120 Hz refresh rate and HDMI 2.1, the BRAVIA 5 is ready for next-gen gaming. So you're set for the future. The Insignia's 60 Hz panel is totally fine if you're just watching shows or movies, but it's a bit limited if you're a hardcore gamer or cinephile. As for smart features, it's Fire TV versus Google TV. Both are easy to use, so it really comes down to which one you like better. And about that price difference, it's not just about the brand. You're really paying for the extra performance, so let's break down the pros and cons for each and help you decide which one's right for you. Alright, let's break it down. The Insignia QF series is all about giving you a ton of value, a massive 4K QLED screen with those eye-popping colors, plus Fire TV built right in, all for a super low price. If you want big screen entertainment without breaking the bank, this one's a winner. But, let's be real. There are some trade-offs. The black levels aren't great, you'll notice blooming in dark scenes, and the motion handling is pretty basic. The 60Hz refresh rate and no HDMI 2.1, not ideal if you're into gaming. So, it's really best for casual viewers or if you need a solid second TV for the bedroom or a smaller space. Basically, you're getting size and smart features, but you're not buying it for the best picture quality out there. And honestly, for a lot of folks, that's a pretty good deal. But if you're a movie buff or a hardcore gamer, you might find those compromises a bit much. Alright, now let's see how the Sony stacks up. Alright, let's break it down. The Sony BRAVIA 5 really shines when it comes to picture quality, thanks to that mini LED contrast and some seriously impressive processing. HDR content, it looks absolutely stunning, and you'll barely notice any blooming. Upscaling and motion handling? Honestly, they're some of the best you'll find right now. And if you're into gaming, you get 120 Hz, HDMI 2.1, and VRR support for the latest consoles. But here's the catch. The price. At $999, it's definitely a big investment. Google TV is super powerful, but it can feel a bit more complicated than Fire TV, especially if you're used to something simpler. And while Mini LED gets really close to those perfect OLED blacks, it's not quite there yet. Bottom line? This is a premium TV for folks who want the best possible experience and don't mind paying a little extra for it. So, which TV is right for you? Let's help you decide. So, which TV should you actually pick? Honestly, it all comes down to what you need and how much you want to spend. If you're after the biggest screen for the lowest price, or you watch TV mostly in bright rooms, or maybe you just need a solid secondary TV, the Insignia QF series is a fantastic pick for casual watching and getting the most bang for your buck. But if you're all about stunning picture quality, love gaming, or you want a TV that's built to last for years, the Sony BRAVIA 5's mini LED tech and cool features are totally worth it, especially if you're a movie buff or next-gen gamer. Just think about how you usually watch. Are the lights on or off? Are you more into movies or just regular TV? Are you a hardcore gamer, or do you just play for fun now and then? If size and price are your top priorities, Insignia is your go-to. But if you want that premium immersive experience, Sony's the way to go. So, in the end, it's all about price versus performance. Pick what fits you best. So, is the Sony BRAVIA 5 really worth dropping $999 on, especially when the Insignia QLED is just $329? Well, it depends on what matters most to you, and what you want your money to do. That $670 difference, it's not just about the name on the front. You're paying for a serious upgrade in display tech, processing power, and gaming features. But honestly, the Insignia is kind of a steal. Big, colorful, smart, and super affordable. For a lot of folks, that's really all you need. But if you want your movies and games to look and feel next level, the Sony is where it's at. Mini LED, top-notch processing, and awesome gaming features make it a true premium TV. So really, it comes down to what you care about more, price or performance. If you're watching on a budget or just want something simple, the Insignia is a smart pick. But if you're a movie buff, a gamer, or just want the best picture every time, the Sony's got your back. If top-tier picture quality is your thing, the Sony is totally worth it. If not, save your cash and enjoy the Insignia. It's a great TV for the price. The best part? You really can't go wrong with either one. Thanks for hanging out with us. Pick the TV that feels right for you.